Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? What's going on, Sofa Squad? Y'all, before we get started, if you could drop a number one in the comment section, let me know that you can hear me A-OK. That way I know I'm not just talking to myself. Okay. Let me get my stuff pulled up over here. Woo. No, we want to play with it. One. Hey, Jenny, thank you for that number one. Emily, how are you? Chrissy, thank you for the number one. Everybody, welcome Miss Emily to the room. She's our moderator. She keeps me in line and everybody else. She keeps the sofa cushions fluffed, the little pillows all cute on the back. I hope everybody's doing well. Now, y'all, I'm actually over at a friend's house. That's why the set looks different. But please make note, first of all, how clear the picture is. Okay, it's the same camera that I have, but it's not mine. So this just goes to further my theory that I am cursed. I, there is a personal curse against me with technology. Um, hello, sweet sofa squad. I'm gonna start greeting everybody like that, but only us would get it. So like in 6 months to a year, and people will be like, "Why does Paul always say hello, my sweet sofa squad? How are you? I'm sorry I missed you. I've been busy in the portal." Um, I hope y'all are doing well. So, y'all, today what we're going to be doing, I've waited to look through this for this, and this is the Mica Miller case. Now, again, this has been blowing up. It is all of this is, let's say, alleged at this point because he has not been formally charged as of right now. And who is he? JP Miller, Pastor JP Miller, her husband, or whatever. She was in the process of not wanting him to be her husband. So, but all this went down. She allegedly unalived herself, if you will, according to him. How did we find this out? He gave a sermon. He laughed at it. He joked. He was completely normal. And at the very end, he said, "Oh, and by the way, Mica took her life. Don't talk about this, please." And literally, the internet has gone berserk and exposed all this information about him. So if you're on TikTok, especially, they have been doing their TikTok thing over there. Oh, thank you, camera fun. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. This is what funny. It's the same camera. I don't know why his works better than mine. I was like, look at the picture. This is so much good. But you know what I think it is? The lighting. He has tons of lights here, and I have very poor lighting at my place. I really think that's what it is. So I literally, it's one of these things where the second I say I'm going to begin here with this case, 10 more things come out about it. So I've just been sitting back. And then today, a little bit ago, an affidavit was released. It looks like it's from the family members and talking about just some information and whatnot. Hey, Dwayne, about their experience with him and that, because what happened is when this went down, family members were urging, and still are obviously, for him to be investigated. So these are just some little things that I've heard through TikTok today. She kept a binder full of information of all, like, documenting all the things that he did. Again, this is alleged at this point, and this has been turned over to the police. This is literally my resource on that is TikTok. So do the math on that. And it's just in general all over the place on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? He got with her when he started grooming her when she was 14, when she started coming to the thing. They got married when she was in her 20s. He has a girlfriend. He's been spotted out having dinner with her. Oh, thank you again, Jenny. Lighting fun. And hey, that's your 20th super. I appreciate it, Jenny. That's sweet of you. I appreciate it. So it's literally every time I open up the app, more information's come out. And when things are like this, I usually tend to kind of just wait for a second. But again, with this affidavit, I was like, I'm going to read this and we're going to read it together. Okay. So that's what we're doing in this live chat is we're just going to literally be reading this together. This was from Fit News. They have covered a lot of cases. They're reporters over there are excellent. So you can go, if you look up Fit News, Mica Miller affidavit, you can find an article and it goes into full depth, this article on it. So if you want pardon me, if you want like a bunch of background information, that type thing, it's there. Okay. Please hold. So there's that. I hope everybody's doing well. And I'm just going to pull it up. I'm going to share the screen with you so we can kind of look through it together. So, please hold. I hope everybody's had a good Monday. Derek has gone back home today. back to the old foothills, North Carolina. So we're going to present. We're going to share screen. We're going to share screen. We're going to come at Mica Miller. There we go. And okay. But let me make sure y'all are seeing the same thing that I am, and then we'll go. Yes. Okay. So Sandy, woohoo! Member for a month. We do appreciate it. Yes, we do. Shh. The crowd goes wild. Shh. Okay. Where are y'all? Where are y'all? Yeah. Where's the screen? Okay. So the beginning of this affidavit starts off with this right here. We see Mica Miller. Pardon me. This is celebration of life announcement. This is provided by Burroughs Funeral Home and Cremation Services, and it says Mica, 30 of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, passed away on Saturday, April 27th, 2024. She was born March 7th, 1994 in Wichita, Kansas, a daughter of Michael Francis and Angelita Ramirez. She is survived by her late husband, Pastor John Paul Miller of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, stepchildren Logan, Zachary, Eli, Asher, and Selah, one brother, Nate Francis, and his wife Victoria, 4 sisters, and we're going to hear from some of them here later in the affidavit. Where's Anna Francis, Sierra Brown, and husband Matt, Abby Francis, and Destiny Barrientos, and husband Nicholas. Mica was very energetic, affirming, adventurous, faithful, loving, giving, forgiving, talented, joyous, creative, assertive, bold, determined, authoritative, passionate, hardworking, a risk taker, and so much more. She and JP have been friends since 2009. She married in 2017 and spent almost every single day and night together. Mica loved her little dog Loki. She loved doing outdoor activities like waterfall rappelling, hiking, skydiving, running, and going to the beach. Mica would take on any challenge, even if it was being a vegan for an entire year. Mica was a great stepmother and an amazing wife and helpmate. She helped Pastor JP with the church in every way. Mica was the worship leader, graphics designer, youth leader, women's ministry leader, and pastor's assistant, and she did all of this with the utmost integrity and faithfulness. Mica made the greatest of efforts to always be the best wife she could be. She truly served Jesus and her husband with all of her heart. She would praise her husband. First of all, do we know, did he write this? I mean, legit question, because I'm just like, this is bizarre. I'm not saying that in a negative connotation, but like knowing what we know now, I'm like, it literally sounds like her husband wrote this. Or someone that like filtered it through. You see what I'm saying? Because the stuff that we're finding out, I mean, what? Yes, he wrote it. Okay, so let this sink in as the first lesson here. Look at how self-serving this is. If this is it, he wrote this, look at how self-serving this is. And he's also trying to portray it like, oh, she did this and she did that and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure she did do all these things, right? However, if you've been watching the content on his sermons and stuff like that, this man trashed this poor woman to the congregation all the time, and like this very stereotypical, oh, thank you, Krissa, she reported a gift to the membership. He trashed her to the congregation all the time, but in a low-key narcissistic gaslighting way that just absolutely pisses you off when you watch it, because you know what he's doing, and you're sitting here thinking, and again, I've only seen like the tip of the iceberg of these. We watched one of them on last night's live, a little bit of a sermon, the way he'll just like low-key bring her into the scenario like a story, like, well, my wife or whatever. It's repulsive. And now that we're finding out all of this information about this, and then reading this, and again, this is like my first time going through this like this, so this is why I'm kind of having this is why I wanted to wait for y'all to go through this so I could ask questions like this. We'll discover it together. So this is just, anyways. Okay, she also told him he was the funniest preacher in the world. I mean, seriously, y'all, even though it wasn't true either. Mica loved her family so much. She looked forward to every text from her father or brother. She sought every opportunity to pour into her sisters. There were thousands of nights she would pray out loud for God to always bless and take care of her family. They were constantly on her mind. Mica wanted more than anything for each member of her family to serve Jesus continually. Mica loved her ice bath, nice car, sauna, house, etc., but more than anything on earth, her desire was to see people come to Jesus. It goes into the celebration of life, and this is Sunday, May 5th, 2024, now, okay, at the church. Okay, now let's talk about that real quick. It says the family will receive friends immediately following the service. The family has requested that memorial donations to be made to, and it gives the thing there. Condolences may be made at, and it gives the website there. Okay. So from what I understand, there was a protest at the church. And from what I understand, also the church has been shut down and the website has been shut down to the church. So this is just kind of crumbling as we speak type situation. When he did this announcement, and pardon me, when he did the announcement, and then at the very end of it was like, oh, and by the way, y'all know that, he or she, I'm sorry, Mica's been having these issues, and well, she, took her own life, and just kind of whatever. That was followed up with, don't talk about this, and I'm taking a break. I might be a few weeks or this, that. He set it up is what I'm getting at. He knew, right? He knew he was turning things up. Now, again, as of like right this second, I do not believe he's been arrested or charged or whatever, but this, I could be wrong. There's literally tons of creators that are in South Carolina right now following this, so they probably would have more up-to-date information, that type thing. And look, if you're just joining, we're talking about the J.P. Mica Miller case. JP was a pastor, I guess you could say was at this point in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. His wife, he gave a sermon. At the very end of it, he was like, by the way, my wife took her life last night, but let's not talk about it. Have a nice day, kind of a thing. And then all this information's come out. We don't know really what happened to her at this point. It's all alleged. However, you can do the math in situations like this as to what you might think has really gone on. And most likely, I'm doubting she took her life. There's that. So that's just a kind of what we're talking about, but we're going through the affidavit. You're right. Who's it? Amy says he is a grifter, not a preacher. I mean, amen on that. Okay. Amen. Okay. So let's get back. Where are we? To the page that we're sharing. So there's that. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, that's just more of that. And again, you can find this on fitnews.com. They have this linked, and then they have a huge article with a lot of the information going on. Excellent resource for this stuff. A news reporting agency. They follow Alec Murdoch. They did a lot with that and whatnot. Okay, so here we are, state of South Carolina in the matter of estate, Mica Miller. Background: petitioner is the sister of the descendant, Mica Miller, who died on April 27th under what is being referred to as suspicious circumstances, which are currently being investigated by authorities. Just prior to her death, April 15th, the descendant filed for divorce from her husband, John Paul Jones. On April 25th, descendant's husband was duly served with a copy of the family court proceedings. Then on April 27th, petitioner was found deceased. So let that sink in right there. This is, I mean, we've seen this so many times, sadly. So a hearing as to descendant's motion for temporary relief in the family court proceedings has been scheduled for June 5th. Petitioner seeks to be appointed as special administrator for the estate of Mica Miller for two specific purposes: to preserve the descendant's interest in the marital estate and to determine whether a last will and testament exist, as further described below and in the attached exhibits. Petitioner seeks to be appointed as special administrator in order to preserve the descendant's interest in marital estate. Though the descendant's claims for divorce and support would have abated upon her death, the claim for equitable appointment to the marital estate remains. And then it cites some case law. And let me go to the next page here. Please hold. There we are. Okay, it cites case law holding that the family court property retained jurisdiction to rule on an action seeking equitable appointment of marital property after one of the parties died during the pendency of the action. To preserve the descendant's interest in the marital estate, petitioner seeks to be appointed as special administrator for the purpose of moving to be substituted as plaintiff in the family court action. Descendant's interest in the marital estate vested at her filing the family court action and can be collected by representative of her estate. As mentioned briefly above, plaintiff's motion for temporary relief is scheduled for June 5th. So that's, basically a month away. Yeah, it's the 6th today, before the Honorable Jane Brunell Holmes. It is of the particular importance for petitioner to appear and obtain a pendant light order restraining and enjoining Mr. Miller from disposing, encumbering, transferring, selling, hypothecating, pledging, destroying, or otherwise altering the status or value of any marital asset. It would be impractical for Mr. Miller to be appointed a special administrator or personal representative pardon me, of the descendant's estate, as he has a pecuniary interest in the outcome of such a claim regarding the marital estate. It is prudent for a third party to be appointed for this purpose to ensure that the results are equitable to those involved. Number two, the petitioner seeks to determine whether descendant has a last will and testament. I'm very curious to see if this comes out, and would seek to use subpoena powers granted to her and the authority as special administrator to do so. The petitioner is aware through the creation and filing of descendant's power of attorney that some level of estate planning exists. What petitioner does not know and currently has no grounds under which to inquire into further is whether part of the estate planning included the preparation and signing of a last will and testament, which could impact the descendant's estate. I'm going to go to the next page here. I'm just going to click in with y'all real quick and just to make sure everything's okay right here. Okay, here we go. I just checking over there, so let's keep going. While descendant's estranged husband might know the answer to this question, if the answer to whether she had a will was answered in the affirmative, and such would not benefit him, due in large part to allegations of abuse in the pending divorce proceedings, he would be better served through interstate succession, which could make him the sole heir to the descendant's estate. Had descendant created a will and sought to limit her estranged husband's share of same or disinherit him entirely, is what petitioner seeks to determine by requesting any such relevant estate planning documents. This is especially relevant as to petitioner's need to preserve the descendant's interest in the marital estate and subsequent distribution of same. Number three, finally, both for those reasons mentioned above and due to John Paul Miller's potential exclusion from benefiting from descendant's estate under it cites the case law, it would be improvident to give him control over the descendant's estate despite the two still being legally married. Please hold. As initially mentioned, the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the descendant's death are still being actively investigated by law enforcement. Circumstances exist to indicate that John Paul Miller may be a person of interest in connection with his wife's death, but that will take law enforcement additional time to determine. If he is convicted of having a role in her death, this would preclude him from benefiting from the descendant's estate, pursuant to an illicit case law, more colloquially known as the Slayer statute. However, in the absence of such a conviction or guilty plea, establishing the criminal accountability for the descendant's death allows a court, upon the petition of an interested person, to determine whether upon the preponderance of the evidence standard, the individual will be found responsible for the death. Although this is yet to be determined, it is still an important factor in the petitioner's request to be appointed, as the possibility of his disqualification creates the implication that he would not act in the best interest of the descendant's estate. I mean, amen to all that. See the enclosed, it lists this stuff right here. It says a bit here, additionally, prior to her death, descendant sought a restraining order against Jean Paul, though it is believed the restraining order was ultimately not issued. Conclusion, therefore, based on the foregoing, the petitioner respectfully requests that the court issue an order appointing her as special administrator of the descendant's estate. I mean, obviously, we can read that and 100% agree, right? I mean, come on. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, Nefertiti, and thank you. I don't know why this kind of reminded me of the pastor that got up in front of his whole congregation and admitted he had an affair. He got a damn standing invasion pit. Oh my God. I vaguely remember what you're talking about, but I think the vibe I remember. I tell you what, yeah. Okay, let's go into the next page here. Let me get back to it real quick. Okay, this looks like okay, so Exhibit A, Myrtle Beach woman's death under investigation in Robeson County. This is by Courtney Rawls, May 2nd, just a few days ago, Robeson County, North Carolina. Major Damian McLean with the Robeson County Sheriff's Office said they are actively investigating the death of 30-year-old Mica Miller. McLean said Miller died last weekend in the Orem community of Robeson County. We're going to the next page. Miller's obituary says she's from Myrtle Beach area. McLean added officers are in the process of gathering information from people in South Carolina and North Carolina as part of their investigation into how Miller died. He said at this point, the investigation has not revealed any information that indicates there is danger to the community following her death. Miller's obituary reads, Mica was energetic, affirming, adventurous, faithful, loving, giving, forgiving, talented, joyous, creative, assertive, bold, determined, authoritative, passionate, hardworking, a risk taker, and so much more. She is survived by her husband, Pastor John Paul Miller of Myrtle Beach. A celebration of life is held at Solid Rock and Market Common. Okay, now we're moving on to the next thing. This is another filing. Again, you can find this and more on fitnews.com. This is where I got this specifically from, but it's like this is just all over the place, this case right now. Okay, so to the defendant named above, which is John Paul Miller, you're hereby summoned and required to answer the complaint in this action. Okay, so time out real quick. Look at the date here, January, February, March, April. This is April 15th. This is what they were talking about before. So this is just more part of this evidence that they're bringing forward. So it's to serve a copy of your answer to the said complaint on the subscriber or subscribers at her office. It lists that office in South Carolina or Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And let's move on to the next thing here, the next page. Notice of hearing. A hearing has been set in this matter on the 5th day of June at 2:30 before the Honorable Jane Bromwell Holmes in the Family Court. Motion or rule request to be completed by moving party. Caption, Mica Miller versus John Paul Miller. Case, date motion filed, 4/16. Moving attorney, telephone, guardian, nature. Motion for temporary relief, if other. Estimated time needed, 15 minutes. So this is just some of those filings that went down. Okay. This is going to get a little bit more into some of the information that's coming forth. Now, this is by, okay, so it says in the, well, let me check with y'all real quick. Okay, just making sure the thing's still going over here now. I'm sorry, I got to check in. Please hold. Okay, so this is in the matter of estate Mica Miller, Sierra Francis petitioner. Personally appear before me Sierra Francis, who after being duly sworn proposes and states as follows. I am the petitioner in the proceedings which are pending before the probate court as to the appointment of special administrator for my sister's estate. I am Mica's youngest sister, having been raised by our parents, Michael Francis and Angelita Salas, with their siblings Nathaniel, Destiny, Anna, and Abby. We ultimately settled in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in 2007 with our mom and stepdad. I was aware of Mica's family dynamics and relationship with her husband, respondent John Paul Miller, and stepchildren Selah, Asher, Logan, Eli, and Zach. Mica and I spoke every few days, texting daily, so much as to even create playlists together. Mica would drive to visit me and my family in Gaffney, South Carolina at least once a month. I know my sister to have expressed the abuse and violence against her by her husband to others. Hold on. You're okay. I have 3 dogs at my feet. I apologize. I'm going to start over with number 6. I know my sister to have expressed the abuse and violence against her by her husband to others, including family members and members of the church congregation. Mica told me that there were people following her, keeping track of where she went. She thought that Mr. Miller hired people to follow her. Mr. Miller later confirmed this during a sermon I watched. This is what I was talking about, y'all. This guy's crazy. I mean, he literally I need to go watch all the damn sermons because there's a bunch of them, but I wonder if they took them down. Okay, let's keep going. Mica confided in me that Mr. Miller was moving assets that were in his name, such as his vehicle, changing the deed to their house to the church, transferring interest in Crocodile Rocks to one of his sons. I mean, y'all, it's the stuff that she alleged. I mean, this man is buried. Okay, even if they don't get him on charges against her specifically, the stuff that this dude was doing allegedly, right? We don't know for sure right now, but we'll just say anyways. Okay, we did that. Okay, so back to number 9. In February 2024, Mr. Miller removed my sister's personal items from the home they shared while she was admitted to Waccamaw Mental Health Facility and left them at the apartment of Diane Neosi. My sister was not aware that her personal possessions had been removed from her residence until she was released from the hospital. That's awful. Number 10. Prior to her admissions at Waccamaw, Mica was gathering and sorting the evidence she had to, let's go to the next page, to bring to an attorney for filing for divorce to support her claims against Mr. Miller, and as to his abuse, character, his paramours, and associates, he paid off or blackmailed. While at the facility, those documents, emails, files, etc., were removed from her phone, personal laptop, vehicle, and purse and never recovered. Further, Mica was unable to access her iCloud account, email, or Facebook profile. Mr. Miller continued using at least one of Mica's accounts, causing any recipient to believe it was Mica's communications. Okay, so pause there for a second. Remember, if you were in the live chat last night, we watched the clip of him doing the sermon where he's talking about oh, that my wife, she was having some health issues or whatever, and she went into the hospital and basically said in the thing, I went on her phone and found these conversations, and well, two of them, for people saying, if you need anything, you can talk to me, and this, that, and the other, and two of them were from men, and this, that, and the other. So essentially, he's like letting you know, so you're going through her stuff. And he said 2 years back. So, I mean, we're not talking like I just glanced, like, because you can imagine, like, if your spouse was something like this, you might have their phone and to be like, oh, their work's calling, or this would be normal, right? He's talking 2 years back. Okay, so he did a deep dive on her stuff. Well, clearly here we see, he was wanting to get rid of that evidence. It was like he was lining all this up. Okay. Allegedly. I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know anybody here personally. Okay. So we're back to number 11 here, and let's get rid of that, and let's go to here. Okay, so number 11, Mica talked about what she wanted her life to be like following her divorce from Mr. Miller. Having traveled for a church mission this past fall from October 15th to the 27th, Mica was intending to participate in additional missions, even to live part-time in Kenya. Mica recently shipped some of her personal items to Kenya in preparation of her stay there. My sister was hopeful for her future after filing for divorce from John Paul. My sister also expressed to me that she was fearful that she would not make it to the divorce and that her life would be taken from her. It is my belief, based on conversations with my sister, that she told multiple people, including other family members. That is heartbreaking. Hold on one second. Let me take this out. I mean, the similar qualities when we see these cases like this of this, it's so sad. We're at number 14. Mica stated to me on many occasions, if I end up with a bullet in my head, it was not me, it was JP. The exact thing that happened. Oh my God, the absolute horror that she had to live through with this man. Oh my God. Wow. I mean, my gosh, y'all. Okay. Number 15, Mica forwarded a family group text message notifying us that Mr. Miller was served the divorce papers on April 25th, 2024. On April 27th, 2024, my sister Mica Miller was found dead as a result of a gunshot wound in Lumberton, North Carolina. 17, I have full support of my family in my request to be appointed as special administrator. I take this request and my potential appointment in this role very seriously. And then it's signed here, May 2nd. Okay. We're moving on, pardon me, to the next page. Like you said, this is her brother. Personally appeared before me Nathaniel Francis, who, after being duly sworn in, deposes and states as follows. I am the brother of petitioner Sierra Francis and descendant Mica Miller. In the proceedings which are pending before the probate court as to the appointment of Sierra Francis as special administrator for my sister Mica's estate. I am Mica's only brother, having been raised by our parents Michael Francis and Angelia Salas with our siblings Destiny, Sierra, Anna, and Abby in Wichita, Kansas. My mom and my siblings, apart from our older sister Destiny, moved to Horry County in 2007. I was aware of Mica's family dynamics and relationship with her husband John Paul Miller and stepchildren Asher, Selah, Eli, Zach, and Logan. I saw Mica frequently as we both lived in Horry County, and we spoke to her on a weekly basis. I was also a member of Solid Rock, where both John Paul and Mica worked for several years until I left the congregation due to the behaviors I observed. So her own brother left the congregation because he was like, I mean, we don't know exactly yet. We might find out, but this is very telling. 7. Mica confided in me that John Paul moved her belongings out of their marital residence and in with Diane Neosi so that he could keep an eye on her. Following this, Mica then retained an attorney for the purpose of filing for divorce from her husband and joined a new church. 8. I have received communications in the past from John Paul Miller stating that he knew no reason for divorce, but wanted a separation and gave reasons why. The email I received on April 3rd, 2023 included a forwarded email from Mr. Miller to Mica dated April 1st, 2023 to an email address that did not appear to be Mica's. Just 2 weeks later, Mica forwarded me an email from Mr. Miller dated April 15th, 2023 to her correct email address as shown. Number 9, Mica told me of legal documents she prepared so that I would be able to make decisions for her well-being. However, those documents were not located. The only legal documents discovered appointed Mr. Miller as her power of attorney. Very interesting. Mica made several police reports over the last few weeks of her tires being slashed, tracking devices being found on her car, and Mr. Miller's email forwarded to me. He apologizes to Mica for the tires and causing damages to her vehicle. Okay, so he is actively apologizing for the behavior. This is insane. How scary. Oh, Neferiti, thank you. Neferiti gifted 10 memberships. That's sweet of you. Thank you very much. Oh, and let me see here. I forgot. Let me make sure somebody didn't say something up here. Please don't. Oh, thank you. Just scrapping. I hope all is well. Jen says, have you heard? I'm just reading the comment section for a minute. Have you heard John Paul Miller's story about? No, I have not. I need to look that up now. There's so much. There's so much. Okay, where are we at? Let me find y'all again. Here we are. Okay. So that was number 10. So he apologizes to Mica for the tires and causing damage to her vehicle. This is good that he did. Bad that he did it, but good for many reasons because now, like, he's taking account. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is legally good. Okay. Number 11. Mr. Miller's email to my sister continued to state that he was angry when Mica confided or put her family before him, and that made him want to hurt her. Oh, wow. In his words, when someone hurts me, I try to hurt them back rather than forgive. And instead of me forgiving you, I just attack and try to cause pain. Oh my God. So imagine what he did with her filing for divorce. And again, if all this is true, you know, we're going to be on the fence about it or whatever. If this is his reaction to stuff like that, and then she files for divorce and all that, oh, he kind of, let's just think about your standard narcissist. They can't take stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Okay. Let me get back over to here. Okay, so 12. Mica told me on numerous occasions that she feared John Paul and just wanted to escape him. 13. Our family is very supportive of one another, and especially in this time of grieving. I believe that my sister Sierra is the appropriate person to step into Mica's shoes and continue what was started by her, both to secure her assets and to determine her portion of the marital estate. Whoa. 18. Magistrate summons. You're hereby summoned to appear personally in the Surfside Magistrate Court. Mica Miller, John Miller. Okay. Okay, so that's it. So let me do this. Let me stop sharing, and then I'm going to come over here. Okay, are you all still there? Okay, yeah, they are. Y'all. Oh my God. This is my. So this is my go because this is the I'm having a conversation in my head right now about all this. Okay, so the conversation I'm having in my head and just sitting here like I'm just kind of speechless. My first thought was, again, as we say with all these cases, how and why did he think he could get away with this? Just, and again, if this is all true and they have these receipts and all this type of stuff, oh, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. If this is all true and all that type of stuff, but then my answer in my head to my question was then, because he just answered your question, he gets angry, he gets emotional, he wants to lash out. He's not thinking of that. He's just lashing out in the moment. So if he allegedly went and took her life, he wasn't probably, it's like he was planning it, but not in that exact moment. It was like, you see what I'm saying? It was almost like a spur of the moment, but also planning behind the scenes. It just happened, and now he's picking up the pieces. Now, there's TikToks and stuff like that of him being at the restaurant with his girlfriend and that kind of thing. And I forget who I think JLR confronted him. I haven't seen it, but I just saw like the headline of it or whatever. So now what I want to do is come over here. Okay, Robeson County Sheriff's Office to release findings in pastor's wife's death. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see what this is right here. I'm just Googling some stuff right here. Robeson County confirms out releases finding into the death. Sheriff said the release of full which will include everything the investigator found during the 30 minutes. Oh. Okay, hold on. Let me share this with y'all. We'll go over this. Please hold. Please continue to hold. Yeah, and okay, so Leslie, and first of all, Leslie, how are you doing? Leslie writes, and let me just show. Yep, like Chris Watts, Deidre, 100%. Leslie writes, "Why do police not take stalking and spousal abuse seriously?" So many of these cases like this, y'all. This is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? It's so sad and it's so frustrating, and it's almost like until it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Um, And then Nefertiti, thank you. And then Nefertiti says, better question is why do people keep killing their spouses during where is it? Hold on, during things like divorce or cuts about it. You're now the prime minister. I will forever ask the same question. Okay, like why? It makes zero sense. Oh, thank you, Lynette. Lynette says, thank you for making it. Oh, I appreciate it. I thank you for hanging out and enjoying the conversation with us. I can't. I don't. I'm waiting for this guy to be arrested. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't been already, to be honest. But again, it's so fresh, right? And PTSD says, "I'm never divorced from making my grandkids mad." Now, I mean, the things we see, the things we see. And Calamity Jane Doe says the police will literally tell you he has to be actively hurting you before they can stop them. Exactly. And Elon says marital R wasn't outlawed until the late 1900s. So there's that. Exactly. Okay, let me share this screen real quick. Where'd y'all go? Share screen. Boom. Boom. Let me make sure y'all see the same thing I'm seeing. Okay. Where'd y'all go? There it is. Okay, so this over here, Robeson County Sheriff's Office to release findings in pastor's wife death. Robeson County Sheriff confirmed his office will release its findings into the death of a Myrtle Beach pastor's wife on Tuesday. So what's today? Monday. So tomorrow. Sheriff Bernice Wilkins said they will release their full investigation, which will include everything that his investigators found regarding 30-year-old Mica's death and their final conclusion. Sheriff Wilkins is also asking for everyone to please await the full timeline of events before making assumptions and coming to conclusions, the sheriff's office stated in a Facebook post. An incident report shows deputies were called on April 27th to Lumber River State Park for a death investigation where Miller's body was found. For a request of the medical examiner's report on the cause of death, we are still waiting to hear back. She was married to John Paul Miller with the Solid Rock. Okay, so tomorrow they're going to release this. 100% we're going to go through this tomorrow. Probably tomorrow night. Not obviously the second they release it. Okay, this is what. Okay, so reading that, tell me what y'all think about this. Um, the way they're talking, because in any investigation, it gets riled up. People get really emotions start running, all this type of stuff, and the cops are like, "Look, wait till you have everything. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't this, that, whatever." What if the findings are like, no, we do find that she took her own life, but also on the same note, there's all this other information here that's come out that's almost like, okay, it's almost like somebody forces you to do that, I guess. Like if he has some kind of airtight alibi, you see where I'm going with that? I thought it did, Aaron. It's have they already released it? Wait, what day is it? It's Monday, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious if he's truly ordained as well. They ruled it unaliving today. Okay, hold on. Hold on, let's go over here. Hold on, please. I'm just typing some stuff in. Okay. Thank you, Aaron. Here, please hold. Please hold. Asketh and ye shall receiveth. He is not ordained, Randy says. His alibi is they went looking at moon and stars. Are you serious? The autopsy report is out as a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I can't believe. Okay, please hold. Oh, lordy do. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Present. This is why I love coming and going through stuff like this with y'all, because we can kind of be like, oh, go look at this, and then go look. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we're gonna look at this Daily Mail article. Let me make sure y'all see the same thing I do. Okay, so pastor's wife Mica Miller's cause of death revealed. Medical examiner confirms 30-year-old died from self-inflicted gunshot wound. Okay, this is what's going to be the pissy thing. Oh, let's read it real quick first. This is by Isabel Stanley and Laura Collins for Daily Mail, May 6th, a couple hours ago. And let's go down here. Pastor's wife Mica Miller died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound days after filing for divorce from her husband. Mica, 30, was found dead at Lumbee State Park, North Carolina on April 27th, weeks after she shared a video speaking about abuse with marriage as claims emerged she was being harassed and was afraid for her life. And the days after her death, her friends and family held a rally calling for justice for Mica outside the Solid Rock Church where Pastor Miller, 44, works. The pastor stunned his congregants last week after a service in which he had laughed and appeared entirely at ease. He announced that his wife had died and that her death was self-induced. On Monday, Robeson County Medical Examiner Dr. Richard Johnson told ABC, based on the nature of the wound, that it is consistent with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and it was not in the back of the head as it has been speculated. Okay. Oh, you can just tell he's crazy as hell. Okay. Weeks before she died, Mica posted an emotional video in which she spoke of abuse within marriage. We watched this last night in the live. You can Google it. I'm sure it's still up somewhere. Not the live, but the video itself. And offered support to anyone struggling with leaving a dangerous situation because they think God would be mad at them. You could tell in the video there was subliminal stuff going on here. She said, today my heart is a little heavy. I've had lots of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately because I think I forgot. But you are a bride of Christ before anybody else is, male or female. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Abuse is abuse. On Monday, before her cause of death was announced, ABC reported that Mica had filed police reports against a man whose name was redacted in the reports in March, accusing him of harassing her. She had told officers that she was afraid for her life, had found tracking device on her car, and had her tires repeatedly deflated. Let me scroll down. After her death, where is it? Myrtle Beach Pastor Miller stunned his congregation at the Solid Rock at Market Common Church in South Carolina when he announced that his wife had died and that her death was self-induced. He then told worshipers that he would be taking a little break and to leave church without discussing what he had just told them. It's that part blows my mind. In the days since Mica's death on April 27th, her family had pushed back at her husband's explanation that it was an unaliving. Please share this with anyone. This is the thing they were just talking about here. And this, if you haven't watched the video, this is, and you're looking for it, this is her. That's what she's wearing and looks like in the video. Speaking to Daily Mail last week, Mica's sister, Sierra Brown, this is who we're reading in the things we just read for the affidavit, said that the family wasn't making any statements until the investigation was complete, but pointed out the one thing I would say is that he has said it was an official unaliving. That is not the case. There is still an open investigation. Okay, so my next question, let's pause there. Is there still an open investigation? You see what I'm saying? I listened to that sermon. He said it. Please don't talk about the announcement here in the building. Okay, so here in the building, so interesting. Thank you for that, David. Okay, let me go back over the thing. I was just reading your comments real quick. Okay, Mica was found with a fatal gunshot wound in the Lumbee River State Park, North Carolina, and a death that's under investigation by Robeson County Sheriff's Department. Now, remember, they've updated this article, so it's kind of like going back in time here. Mica's death came just 48 hours after her husband, from whom she had been separated for 1 month, was served with divorce papers. Court records hint at the tumult within the marriage, with Mica first filing for divorce back in October 23 before withdrawing the filing February 12th. Later that same month, Mica filed against his Later that same month, Miller filed against his wife for separate support and maintenance and a motion withdrawn March 11th. But on April 15th, just 12 days before she was found dead, she filed once more, and according to her friends, also sought a no contact order against her husband. Hold on. Hold on, please. Hold on, we're listening. We're listening to this. Please hold. Let this commercial go by, and then we'll listen to this. I'm just pausing. We're just pausing for the thing. So this is going to be. I'm very curious because again, this is. I've got so much to say. I can't even get it all out. Okay, hold on. Let's just watch this real quick. I want to hear him say it. I have not seen this footage yet of this actual thing. I've just read it. Well, I've seen very quick clips of it. I shouldn't say that. And this might be a very quick clip of it. We'll see. But how long is the commercial? I mean, my gosh, I shouldn't say anything. Okay, I'm going to turn the volume on because it's getting ready to come on.
We're not going to do an altar call today. Instead, I'm going to have you stand up and I'm going to make an announcement. And after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can. So y'all can stand to your feet.
Oh, God.
Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next, little bit. I don't want to have, I'm taking a little bit of a break and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks. I don't know. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And yeah, it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina. And we're going to have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come.
I can barely look at the screen.
For our family and your prayers. And I'm going to let Pastor Randall, my bishop, he can pray. I'll get him a microphone. He'll pray out. And if you have anything you want to share as well, I appreciate it.
Come on, let's pray.
I mean, oh my God. Okay, first of all, y'all keep giving. I don't want to worry about the church. Seriously. Number two, imagine the reality. Pretend this legit happened. Can you imagine getting up there about your person and saying, just in general, in this context, the whole thing, number one, but then y'all know she wasn't mentally well. Yeah, she wasn't. Who does that? That's what I'm talking about. That's that gaslighting, that narcissist, that stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? Who would even do that? Somebody trying to cover their tracks. And I'm not saying that he did it. We don't know yet, obviously. But even if it was like, I drove this person to do something to themselves, regardless, he is at the center of this as far as I'm concerned. But again, I'm not, anybody qualified to say anything like that. And this is after he gave the sermon and laughed his way like a normal sermon. To run her name through the mud like that. That's the thing. Okay, let's finish this thing right here. Y'all knew she wasn't mentally well. That's the other thing too, the way that they'll sit there and try and do that. We see this in all these cases. Look at like Jody and Ruby, like how they'll outline everybody to be like, set it up so that if you come out and speak out against them, they've already set it up with everybody around you that they think you're the crazy one. Who talks about that? And the other things that we've seen his sermon talking about, I went through her phone and found men in the phone. Who would say that? Even in the realm of like pretend that you really did and you're the pastor, why would you want to tell your congregation your business like that? You know what I mean? Like who would even do? And that's just the part of the congregation. Like, did we not get red flags off this dude like a long time ago? That's the part that kind of has me like this. This is what gets me with these people, just like with Jody. She's at the forefront of my mind because I recorded a couple more installments of that godforsaken book today. Just like happened in Jody world today. The red flag behavior from these people is so extreme. And I guess maybe if you're used to it, because like with the congregation, I'm just like, I've just watched some of it and I'm like, this is cringe. Like, I'm sorry, you lost me when you got up there talking about I went through her damn phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, hold on. His interview with a Christian Post will really make you boil. Oh my God. Is it a video interview, Joe? Flopping in the wind, red flag, right? Yeah. So many people have said that. He does look kind of like rock starish, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me go back over here real quick. Oliver, you're okay. Come here. You want to say hey? Is that what you want? Hold on. Oliver wants to say hello. He's carrying around the foot to one of his toys. You gonna share it? No. You no. Okay. He tore the foot off his rubber ducky. There you go. Okay. Okay, so speaking March 22nd, Mica said, you don't have to stay in an abusive relationship. This is referring, we're in that article. This is referring back to the video that she did. You don't have to stay in an abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs. The fact that she said that thing about illegal drugs and then he made that comment about having a hard time getting her drugs. And then again, there's a lot of grapevine stuff that has come out, y'all, that I won't repeat. But if you know, you know, if you've seen it, that is like bizarre, like out there behavior on his part. Okay. That if it turns out true, it's like mouth on the floor stuff. Okay. Um, so drugs or alcohol abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault or that you're a bad mom or a bad husband or you're not giving it all your all when you know you are. There's a beautiful young lady. Let's see. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody that I've asked in the scriptures I've seen, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that? Mica met Miller 14 years her senior when she was just 14 years old and a member of his church youth group. Red flag material right there on his part. Addressing his congregation, Miller stated that Mica, stepmother to his 5 children, was mentally unwell. But friends have taken to social media to refute the statement, with one posting on X. Mica is a close friend of mine. She 100% would not have taken her life. She was excited to start a life, no longer living in fear of him, and was finally on her way out. And here we go. So answer. And Mica's obituary penned by Miller. I mean, my God, it makes sense. Absolutely ridiculous. Love bombing her in the thing and then tooting his own horn. Okay, where we go. Who has a criminal record including multiple counts of aggravated assault and battery, to which he pleaded, makes no mention of the fact that the couple had separated. Instead, he described her as a great stepmother, an amazing wife and helpmate, and portrayed her as his biggest cheerleader. Ken Young, Mica's friend, is also, though, searching for answers over what happened. This has to be at least looked into deeply. There's got to be some accountability, he told WPDE, because, yeah, a tragic life was lost, and it's not just as simple as mental health issues. Miller's sisters have also alluded to questions around her death, making posts with the caption, "Justice for Mica." There is a lot of talk already going on, so I want to set the record straight. Our sister Mica Miller passed away yesterday. Miller's sister, Sierra Francis, wrote, "Please do not listen to false stories being shared about her. She was a God-fearing, joyful, loving woman." Let me scroll down. Mika's sister Sierra, seen above in a Facebook video, told Daily Mail that the family is not commenting publicly until the investigation is complete, but confirmed her official cause of death has not yet been determined. Here's just some more pictures here. Where are we at? We know that so many of you feel this gut wrenching loss with us. The fight is not over. Mica originally hails from Wichita, Kansas, is one of 5 children, according to her obituary. Court filings indicate she had served with her husband with divorce papers just weeks before her death. The pastor's obituary describes her and it lists all those words that he put. In an interview with ABC 15, Micah's husband reiterated that his wife had taken her own life. Okay, we're going to have to look that up in a second. She had struggled with unaliving before, he said. Each time we would help her through it and take her to the doctor, and we got through it. Everything was fine. She even gave a few testimonies here at church that we have on video. Notice that that we have on video. She battled unaliving, but God took care of her and got her through it. He added that she was probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for and described nights spent talking to each other for hours. Or not talking for hours. Let's go to this real quick. Oh, we had home. Hold on, I'm just reading this to see if there's something. So this whole thing. Okay, let me get back to y'all. Where are y'all? Okay. This whole thing, and he is at the forefront of trying to how do you say it? Steer the narrative or whatever. Like, this is what it is. She did this. This is the thing. Da 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 da. And yeah, Chrissy says, why would you keep the video of your wife talking about that? It's gross. Yeah, and that whole thing that he said, Chrissy, is like, we have video of it. Some of her testimonies. We do have evidence. He's dotting his I's and crossing his T's. I mean, and here's the thing: some of the stuff that I've seen, like on TikTok and stuff like that, that's like very unconfirmed. That kind of stuff that they're talking about, like in this book that she had, this alleged book of notes that she had of all the abuse. I mean, if that comes out that that's true and all that information comes out, y'all, this dude is twisted. Okay, twisted. Now, I'm sure he's scrambling because even like, let's pretend that he somehow just did something to drive her to do what she did, or he blackmailed her or whatever. We don't know, right? But if they're going to rule it like, no, look, um, that's what she did. She unalived herself, and that's all it is, right? He might be thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to take a breather and then go back to doing my thing." But I think, from what I understand, the church let him go. Like, he's no longer, and they took their website down. I mean, this is like crumbling down, right? So the fallout is worse than he probably obviously hoped for, but wanted or expected. He probably thought he could slide under the radar a little bit. Pardon me. Come out, get ahead of it, get the story out there. We got the evidence of her talking about this. This is what it'll be. And now he underestimated the power of TikTok and all this stuff, right? Where people are like just going crazy, getting all this information on him, talking to people, all this type of stuff. And again, it's like, I don't know how to say it. Like, people like him, these cases we look at, Chad Daybell, Lori Daybell, Jody, Ruby, Letitia, all of them, they underestimate the power of like that little sixth sense that people have. That's like red flag behavior, where you're like, Now, granted, they might also be used to living in their bubble, because obviously this man had a congregation of people. They're like, we're sitting here looking at this context, like, how did you not, like, this behavior is so how did he have this congregation? Well, I mean, it clearly gave him this false sense of security that he could, pull one over on anybody, I guess. But you step outside of that, absolutely not. 100% not. Carol says, I wonder what the women in the audience thought about this. I mean, seriously. And Emily says, no, they didn't even have a tax. That's right. Apparently, Emily says they didn't even have a tax exempt status. There's also just shady stuff with the church and finances and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like a lot. This is very deep on multiple levels. Like, and again, if all of it comes out to be true, proven, all that type of stuff, there's layers of crimes going on. Okay, not just with Mica, although that is the most serious one, obviously. And imagine being in her situation. I mean, look at how many things she was out there saying, if this happens, but, you know, this is what it is. I'm almost out. She's at the finish line, but she saw it coming. She was, yelling out to people. She was speaking out in the video that we saw, at least, and it was too late. He couldn't handle that. I mean, this is exactly what he said in the other thing. Oh, thank you, Matt. Paul, I love your analysis. The way to so much crazy. Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, I try. I'm just nobody. But I mean, we just kind of read through stuff together here and figure it out. Oh, that's right, Jen. Hold on, let me put this up. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Where'd Jen go? Okay, first of all, Jen, hey, how are you doing? So Jen put, this is another whole layer to this. His current mistress's husband accidentally died a couple of years ago. Imagine who did his funeral. Y'all, please hold. Hold on, what am I typing in here? Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me find y'all. You're right here. Okay, where are we at? So let me get rid of this, and then let me come over here and present and share screen and share screen. Okay, let me make sure y'all see the same thing that I do. Yes. Okay. This is wide open country. South Carolina pastor John Paul Miller's alleged girlfriend's husband drowned in a community pool in 2021. This is May 5th. So he has a girlfriend. This is allegedly, okay, or a friend whose husband you just read died in a pool in a wheelchair. Now we'll get into the details of it here. So the story around South Carolina pastor John Paul Miller and his late wife Mica Miller keeps getting more twisted and sadder. Previously, I'd have reported John Paul had an alleged girlfriend. Let's take a closer look. Now this is by Matthew Wilson. Internet sleuth Robbie Harvey reported that John Paul was dating Susie Skinner while still married but separated from Mica. Well, Skinner's husband, Chris Skinner, passed away 3 years ago in 2021. It was officially ruled an accidental drowning. Chris Skinner was paralyzed and in a wheelchair after an accident. He became a motivational speaker and was good friends with Marty Smith, touching the hearts of several country singers like Cole Swindle. Cole Swindle. Okay, we're going to keep reading here. Harvey said there's something disturbing that the pastor and Susie Skinner have in common. Susie Skinner's former husband, Chris Skinner, died from a drowning accident. Chris had a tragic accident some 20 years ago that left him bound to a wheelchair, but he adapted and lived a beautiful life. According to Susie, he enjoyed going to their community pool often by himself. On Labor Day 2021, Chris did just that, but apparently something went terribly wrong. According to reports, Chris got too close to the pool with his wheelchair and fell in with nobody around to save him. Reportedly, Chris Skinner was a regular at the community pool, Harvey continued. Somehow, on Labor Day 2021, Chris misjudged how close he was to the pool and fell in. Guess who conducted his funeral? John Paul conducted the funeral for Skinner. Now, I want to stress that this does not mean that Chris' death was anything other than accidental. All of this is just circumstantial. John Paul Miller passed away. He believes that. Okay, so, and then it just goes into the previous information that we've gone over. So, yeah. Yeah. I know Jenny says, they dunked religion. I mean, that's exactly what I was literally thinking. Nefertiti, it sounds like it was a community pool, and depending on like where it is, like, and when they're saying this, like, I'm imagining just like a local pool, you know what I'm saying? Like the local pool or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like at your complex or your neighborhood or whatever. Oh, Christy, thank you. Christy says, I survived abuse and almost feel guilty when others don't. I get passionate about the kids. I hear you, and I'm glad you survived it and made your way out. Like you see, a lot of people don't. And a lot of times it's unspoken. A lot of people are trapped. This is the thing that when you see these cases and you see, like, especially when it's just too late, how trapped the person is by the abuser and how the abuser is able to go and set things up to trap said person. It's quite clear this is what this man did, right? I mean, all the way from just gaslighting her to the congregation. Imagine what it was like showing you like before all this happened, like say when they were together, whatever. Him saying that, like gaslighting her, putting her business out there, and having to go be in front of the congregation. People knowing your business like that. Thank you, Matt, for joining. I mean, seriously, you know what I'm saying? And then whatever's going on behind the scenes. And again, if this whole thing that I'm hearing about this book that she kept with all this like documented times and all this type of stuff, if that comes out, yikes. Okay. Wow. Because yeah, I don't see it. This is a good point. I don't see how a pool was empty on Labor Day. All feeding it. It's good seeing your name. I hope y'all are doing okay. That whole congregation will need therapy. Oh, I know. Seriously, Phoenix says that whole congregation will need therapy. Those poor people. Yeah. Can you imagine, like, literally going home after that? First of all, I was waiting for the audible gasp when he said that because that was me over here. Oh, Triella, mission episode squad. Okay. All right, that would be fun. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, wait, Jen says, Paul, I heard. Hold on, he got rid of her journal last time he put her in it. Oh, so is that what he got rid of? Was a journal? Oh my God, are you serious? Princess says, watch the video of JP doing the funeral for her. Oh my God. He put her in the middle of it. Just broke my. I know. Part of me was 5 a.m. when he accidentally drowned in the pool. It was 5 a.m. I 100% do not believe that. Not that it was 5 a.m. Not saying I don't believe you. I don't believe that he accidentally drowned now. I started to give it the benefit of the doubt where I was like, well, maybe he was really confident and just went down there and like whatever. But then so whoever just commented a second ago, like well, it's like whatever, it was Memorial Day, whatever. Why, where were people? And then it's 5 a.m. Yeah. Makes zero sense. None of it adds up. And yeah, feeding it says you question everything. Oh, 100%. Because, okay, so back to that. So when he announced that, I internally had an audible gasp. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like a whole room full of people that you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, my wife took her life. I got a phone call. Y'all know she was mentally unwell, you know. And then the whole thing of please don't talk about it in the building, just leave. Huh? Really? And I'm taking a break. I mean, all that in one fell, kaboom. And then him trying to act. I'm just operating off adrenaline. He was trying to make an excuse up for not acting like he even cared the whole time, because that's the next thing these people would be thinking. Has any of the people from the congregation gone on social media and talked? Because I want to hear from them. Hold on. Come here. Well, for sure. Come here. See, Father. Ross gonna say hello. Say hey, everybody. Yeah, what's going on? I know Stephanie Wood says the chatter in that parking lot after they left. Amen. You know. Oh. And then you can come say hello too. And this is Jake. He is quite full of energy. You smelling my breath? Do I have coffee breath? Oliver, it's okay. They get very jealous when I pick one person up. One dog up. Um, so yeah. Yeah, Anna says he probably hired someone. See, that's what I almost wonder if he got an airtight alibi and then had somebody else, like, you know what I mean, do it or whatever. Um, I'll be very curious if they release more findings tomorrow, like whatever that thing he was talking about, they're going to release, because I'm dying to hear the next thing. Again, it's how frustrating for the family to be sitting here. And I mean, number one, luckily everyone has their eyes on it. They're not letting it go underneath the sweep under the carpet, right? But how frustrating also for them to just, number one, this happen and feel so helpless. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, is this guy going to get away with this? Like, whatever this is, you know what I'm saying? Because there seems to be a lot of this. You know what I mean? Like, he did a lot of things, okay? I know dogs are persons too. I like that. I agree. I believe he had someone do. Wait, hold on. Do it to make it look like he did. Yeah, that's what it. If he didn't do it, like if it's 100% he didn't do it, that's my next thought. Is okay. Well, who them? So, yeah, we'll keep our eye on it. So, I am going to now run everybody because I need to go home, and then go to bed, and then get up early, and then start the day over tomorrow. So, this is what we're gonna do. If something is released like that thing they were talking about, we'll do another live tonight and go through it, and I'll hold off reading it until the live, so that we can kind of have our next little bout of this. Obviously, we'll be looking out for charges, that kind of thing, whatever comes down the pipeline. Because again, the one thing too, if they're not able to charge him on specific things related with Mica, there seems to be a plethora of other things. So we'll just wait and time and see. So that's it. I do appreciate it, everybody. Thank you, Emily, for holding the fort down, for keeping the sofa fluffed and the pillows nice and cushy for us all. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for engaging in the conversation, and thank you for going back and forth on looking up all this stuff and then doing our little sofa investigation. I appreciate it. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I will talk to y'all in the comment section of the next video or in our live chat next time. That is it. I'll